Guys, this right here is the Tecno Spark 30C, a new addition to the Tecno Spark series. Guys, cheap phones are getting way too good. This device costs only 140,000 naira or about $90, and this is what you get. Alright, so this is the front facing camera of the Tecno Spark 30C, and as you can see here, this is what $90 gets you in the smartphone world, in the very budget segment. What do you guys think of the video quality right here? Let me know in the comment section below. And before we explore other camera features of this smartphone, hit on that subscribe button and let's head straight into the main review. Now, what do you get in the box of this device? Well, just like every other Tecno low-end devices, when you open the box, you'll see the device wrapped in plastic with some key specifications on it. Next is an MTN recharge voucher. You get an 18-watt charger, a 12 plus 1 month warranty card, a plastic silicone case, a pair of earphones, a USB Type-C charging port, and a SIM ejector tool. All of these are pretty standard of what you get within the box of a budget Tecno smartphone. Now, for the design and build quality, just like the Pop 9 I reviewed a few days ago, if you haven't seen that video yet, I have it linked in the description box below. The design is very minimal and I like it. It is a new design structure for Tecno, especially in the very budget segment, which is slim and lightweight. The Spark 30C comes with a round camera bomb that looks very simple and nice. The first thing that stood out for me was the form factor. It is slim and lightweight. Now, despite its plastic construction, I have to say that it is well made and it looks amazing, especially in this Orbit white color. It has a very nice design that looks very attractive, and from a distance it looks like an expensive device, even though it is not. Surprisingly, build quality is okay and it has exceeded my expectations at this price point. On the right side of the device, we've got the power button and the volume rocker keys. To the left, we've got a SIM tray that can take two 4G nano SIM card and a micro SD card. At the bottom, we've got a headphone jack, a microphone, a USB Type-C charging port, and a speaker grill. Then on top of the device, we have another speaker. At the back of the device, we have a 50 megapixels main sensor, an infrared remote sensor, a VGA lens, which I feel it's a gimmick because it really does nothing. The infrared sensor is located right next to the main camera. Then there's a ring flashlight, and if you go downward a little bit, you're going to see the Tecno Spark branding. After spending quite some time with this device, I have to say that I am really impressed with what $90 can get you in the smartphone world. This is very similar to the Pop 9 I reviewed a few days ago. Another thing that stood out for me was how smooth the UI feels thanks to the 120Hz refresh rate. Unlike the Pop 9 that doesn't have an option to switch between 120Hz and 60Hz, you have that option to actually switch between 120 and 60Hz on here. And it makes sense. The whole UI is very responsive. Speaking of being responsive, let's talk about the display real quick. First off, it is a 6.67 inches 720p IPS LCD. This type of display is not going to blow you away or anything like that. There is nothing too fancy here in terms of specs, but you know what? That is alright, because if you want more, you have to be willing to pay more. It is all about achieving a balance here, and I feel like this device actually does that. The colors are pretty solid, not too flashy, but they get the job done. It is not going to compare or offer the kind of vibrant performance you see on an OLED display, but it is very okay. The text is sharp enough for anyone to read without any issues, which again is all that you need. Even though it is only a 720p resolution, it is still very good compared to some other cheap smartphones out there. Now, when it comes to watching YouTube or consuming media content, it is smooth and decent. Playback is very smooth, and the slightly bigger screen actually provides more immersive experience. You can also take it outside in a sunny day and still see what's happening on the screen just fine, thanks to the high peak brightness of around 500 nits. Overall, this display is decent at this price point. Now, just like the Tecno Pop 9, one of the standout features on this smartphone is the infrared remote control that enables you to control your home electronics with ease. And like the Pop 9, the placement of the IR blaster is just right here. So you have to control your device like this. Like you have to place the phone facing front, controlling your device like this, like your home electronics like this, which doesn't really offer much convenience. But do you really know what is actually convenient on this smartphone? It is a side-mounted fingerprint on here that is very responsive 90% of the time. In addition to that, This $90 smartphone gets you a stereo speaker setup that sounds very okay for the price. At this point, it is safe to say that the Tecno Spark 30C has checked all the basics that you will look for in a phone. But what about performance? Because that is another important factor to consider when choosing a smartphone. Spoiler alert, this phone does not come with a very fast processor and it won't rub shoulders with any flagship or expensive devices. No, you're not going to get that here. This is not that device. So what will you actually get on here? Well, I am happy to tell you that performance is modest for day-to-day tasks. And if you're considering a phone at this price point, don't expect too much from it. However, this actually gets the job done. The Tecno Spark 30C comes with a MediaTek Helio G81 octa-core processor, paired with 4GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. For most people, that should be okay. Now, if you enable memory fusion technology, it will elevate the device performance ever so slightly. But I'll say that if you want to get the best out of this device, get the 6GB version. For the price, performance is very acceptable. I haven't experienced much lag, but sometimes there are some occasional hiccup with some apps becoming unresponsive to touch, and a slight delay in opening apps. Other than that, it is very okay. When it comes to gaming performance, don't get your hopes too high. This is a $90 smartphone and it cannot perform much magic in this department. But what I can boldly tell you is that it can actually handle 2D games like Subway Surfers and even Call of Duty Mobile, as long as you set most of the graphic settings to low. Now, while it may not be as smooth as most expensive device, it is still more than capable of providing a decent 2D gaming experience. If you wish to play more demanding games, you might want to look elsewhere. Overall, the type of performance that this offers is acceptable for the price. For software, the Tecno Spark 30C comes with Android 14 out of the box, and it offers a similar experience that you will get from most recent Tecno smartphone. We have the dynamic port that shows notification on the punch hole display. We have memory fusion, Ella voice assistant, which is now powered by ChatGPT, and a lot more. One of the things I noticed is the minimal bloatware it comes with, which is very impressive, and you can actually remove any apps that have the potential of bringing ads. Speaking of ads, this is another new Tecno device that has not displayed any ads so far. Now let's talk about the camera on the back of this smartphone, which is actually not this device's main selling point. But considering the price, it is actually not bad. We have a 50 megapixels main sensor, a VGA sensor, which I think it's a gimmick, like I said initially, and an 8 megapixel front-facing camera. The camera quality is decent for what it is. It captures good details and colors in well-lit environment. However, the reverse is the case when it comes to low light situations. The images are grainy and not too desirable to look at. The thing is, you don't buy this type of phone if pictures are your main concern. And I must reiterate that the camera is not this device's strong suit. But just go through the images and tell me what you think about them in the comment section below. Now, for battery life, the Spark 30C actually does a really good job. I've been able to get through a full day of use with ease, and that's with multiple apps running and a fair bit of screen on time. The 5000 mAh battery is definitely a win here. The battery life is very impressive with up to 2 days of light use, but it can be a little bit more challenging if you're a heavy user. But I was still able to get through a day without having to charge it up. Speaking of charging, the Tecno Spark 30C actually comes with an 18-watt fast charger out of the box, which is another impressive thing to have, especially at this price point. From my test, it took the charger slightly over 2 hours to charge from 0 to 100%, which is very impressive. Guys, in conclusion, the Tecno Spark 30C is a fantastic cheap smartphone that offers excellent value for money. It offers an attractive build quality, decent performance, and a good battery life. If you're in a market for an affordable device that can handle all your basic needs and more, this device is definitely worth considering, and I can easily recommend it to anyone that wants something very cheap yet very practical in handling basic stuff, or someone that is on a very tight budget. That is it, my review of the Tecno Spark 30C. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed watching this video, kindly give me a like and subscribe to the channel. Also share this video. You don't know who this might be helpful to. Thank you so much for watching, and I guess I'll see you in the very next one. Bye-bye.